なアルとマイクみたいになりたい。でも電話してくれない。オークランドとブックレンドから世界チャンピオンバーチャルプローズ始まるよ。バーチャルプローズ。バーチャルプローズ。
Boy, you should know that I had you on my mind, secret admirer. I've been watching you. Should I swing my way? Should I look good at me? Now would you please swing my way? Should I swing my way?
Episode 53 of the World Champion Sound Virtual Pros podcast. My name is Al, aka Henny Omega, aka the Bad Man, aka Bougie Nagata, aka Two Phone Scorpio, aka Super Brazy, aka Tony Dramaluke, and with me, one half of the Holy Scheming Army, one half of Blemolition, one half of the Heavenly Thotties, my main oos. Mike.
Hey, what's up, motherfuckers? It is Mike, a.k.a. Crack Saber Jr., a.k.a. Tim Tam Bigelow, a.k.a. Wavy Boy Smith, a.k.a. Kilo Santana.
Today's topic, we bringing it back. The Virtual Pros discuss antiquated and rarely used wrestling tropes that we'd like to see become popular again. Hit us on Twitter and Instagram at VRTL Pros. Hit us on SoundCloud. Hit that heart. You know I like it. Hit us on iTunes. Leave a review. And if you haven't already, download that bloody disgusting app. Have all 53 eps in the palm of your hand. And if you want to participate, please email us at virtualpros64@gmail.com. Mike, we got some emails. You mind starting off with the first one?
Yeah, sure. The first one's from Jeff. Its subject is mispronunciation. What up, bros? Jeff from Boston here. My fave repeat offender for fucking up people's names is William Regal. His, we talked about this last episode. His best work is when he would repeatedly call Umanga. Also, thanks for copying my New Japan shirts.
You're welcome.
You are all very tall men. I don't care what they say about you. Giants among men, men of great renown. Keep up the great work. Jeff from Boston, a.k.a. Cowboy Trill Watts, a.k.a. Hacksaw Jim Thuggin, a.k.a. Xavier Twista Backwoods, a.k.a. AC Smoking Pounds of Green. That's a good one. Yeah, we just talked about our favorite mispronunciations last week, or last episode, so that was his little chime in there.
I had 2 weeks and I couldn't think of one. I am a fan of Regal saying Umanga, though. It's always pretty funny.
Yeah. I just always assumed it had to do the way something with his accent where he can't say Umaga. I don't know
though. Next up is JR, titled Confessions of a Former Replica Belt Collector. Oh boy. Okay, so I've only owned 2 in my life, so nowhere near the theme levels. Flashback to early 2000s. As an RVD mark, I'm looking to cop that ECW TV title replica from High Spots. Even though I was a 20-year-old with disposable income, they were still out of my price range at $199. Enter the High Spots scratch and dent belt sale, and they have it for $80 or so. The reason it was in the scratch and dent sale, it had been autographed by Kid Cash in silver marker. Yes, the second to last man to hold the title. For 2 whole weeks and defend it twice in 2000, that devalued the belt by $120 just by writing his name on it. Short story long, it did go up slightly in value when I sold it for $150 on eBay in 2009. So there is your one documented case of a replica belt value appreciation. Thanks again, Jay A Cup, straight up judo suicide. Yeah, as someone that partakes in eBay selling, I'm shocked that an autograph made something less valuable because people go nuts for autographs that they didn't get personally themselves. I sold one of my Okada, like 8x10 signs autographs for $60. And I was like, wow, someone really wanted a photo of Okada with marker on it. But this being Kid Cash is like really, really fucking funny to me.
Yeah, no offense to Kid Cash, but I don't see his autograph as something that's going to make something more valuable. So I can understand why the belt would be less on the high spots. I never really thought that there's probably places that sell the replica belts for cheaper than $200 to $400.
Yeah.
I guess that's okay if you buy one at this cut rate of $80, but I don't know.
I do remember this sale, by the way, which, man, it's kind of taking me back.
Next email is from Scott B. So the subject is Slam. Hi, Alan, Mike. Hope you're both well. A few questions for your consideration. When a new wrestler is going to debut or someone is returning, WWE generally hypes it up with videos, etc. This is to get people talking, but in the past, pre-internet, sometimes people would show up and it would be a holy shit moment. When was the last time you guys had a genuine moment of excitement and an unannounced wrestler making an appearance? DDP being the Undertaker's wife's stalker. I wasn't even really watching when that happened. Mike, you mentioned your past in hardcore metal bands. Do you ever come across Rick from 25 to Life? In old late 90s magazines, he talks himself up like a big deal, but he seems like a giant dickhead, and when he sings it, sounds like Giant Baba doing a cartoon Tasmanian Devil impression. Am I wrong? Also, should I get into Sam Hain? Lots of people talk about November Coming Fire as a classic, but I don't know. Al, what's a better mid-90s commercial hip-hop track? Return to the Mac or Regulate? Sorry, I don't have a Tim Tam update. This guy's from Australia, so he has all the Tim Tam updates. Sometimes people like to drink coffee or other hot drinks through the biscuit and call it a Tim Tam Slam. So there's a life hack for you. I already knew that, but thank you. Keep up the great work, as always. Scott B, a.k.a. D. Beat Dudley, a.k.a. Dwayne Turok Johnson, a.k.a. Hibiscus. Oh, that was it. Western Australia. P.S. Not to sound like a total creep, but Bold Nakano was a total babe, then, now, and forever. And he linked to a video.
That's not a creepy thing at all. I don't know.
I don't remember the last time I was genuinely excited about a wrestler showing up unannounced. I guess the Hardy Boys from WrestleMania was pretty unannounced.
Yeah.
I wasn't like I wasn't, fucking going nuts, but it was definitely a surprise.
He has like questions about Rick to Life now.
Oh yeah. I've had some run-ins with Rick to Life. Probably not as many as some other people. I feel like, I don't know if it's true or not. I think it's just an internet hoax, but he might be in some kind of weird white power band now or something. Yeah, I'm getting confirmation about that. I guess the funniest story I would have about him is that I used to be friends with his girlfriend or possibly wife. I can't remember if they got married or some shit like that. But I remember one time seeing him at a show, and it was when he lived in Baltimore and I lived in Albany. And I asked him if he brought his girlfriend along, and he said no. He said he couldn't fit her in the car because it was filled with merch. Because he was known for basically bringing a flea market's worth of merchandise to shows. So that was so important to him that he couldn't even bring his girlfriend to shows because there's too much in his car. Also, that I always thought Sam Hain, that record wasn't that great. I don't know if that's a new kids thing because I'm like a few generations older now, but yeah, I never really liked that record, so I don't think you should get into it.
Oh man, I was hoping the payoff for that Rick to Life story is that you took his girlfriend. That'd have been pretty sweet. Oh,
No.
What's a better mid-90s commercial hip hop track? Man, Return to Mac is pretty good, but I got to go with Regulate. Like, I had the Above the Rim soundtrack, and I played it every day, like, as a child. So, Regulate has, like, I don't know, just resonates with me. The last time that I had a genuine moment of excitement at an unannounced wrestler, that happened last Saturday at about 4 a.m. When Chris Jericho showed up on the New Japan Summer Jam screen. That was fucking wild. I think Mike will get into it later, but that has to be like at least the latest one for me, at least. We'll talk about it later. Next up is from Jeffrey? Yeah, yep. Jeffrey. Okay. Titled Holding These Hoes' Hands, Wearing My AJ Styles Gloves. Got some good titles here. First things first, I did not mean to offend Jim from Virginia. If I get the chance to meet you at a show, Jim, I'd love to smoke you down, buy you a beer, and discuss how Manami Toyota's missile dropkick gives me butterflies in the stomach. You're the best, homie. I was at the AIW show at Now That's Class. I would have introduced myself if I knew what you look like, but I don't. I traded Danny Havoc Soma's for a wadded up t-shirt out of his tattered luggage, then went to a rave after the show. Philly Collins tried to too sweet me at the bar, and I told him I wasn't that kind of fan. It made me sad to have to take a stand like that because he was a very nice guy, but dear God, fuck all that shit. My question is pretty simple. Are there any matches this year, New Japan Pro Wrestling, since the G1 that I need to check out? I've been slacking on keeping up and would really appreciate it if you guys would hit me with that scoop. Now that Pat Buck has quit Ryback's podcast, you guys are officially the best in the game. Come on, man. Congratulations, blood. Okay. Matches that you got to check out since G1 ended. Also Saturday, man, that Kota Ibushi Tanahashi match. Woo, they were smacking the lips off each other. You got to check that one out. How about you, Mike? You have any input on this?
That Naito Ishii match from whatever the last thing was before this Power Struggle, I think. Was that what the last one was before this one? Or was this Power Struggle?
Damn. The titles after like G1, like, I don't know. It's whatever.
Yeah. It was whatever last month's one was, the October, September one.
Yeah.
That was pretty good. It was the one that Evil and
Okada got it.
Were the main event.
Yeah.
Is this an email? No, this is album art for a contest.
Tosh, man. You want to announce it now?
Yeah, sure. We did an album art contest for our second anniversary because it's officially our second anniversary. I don't know how I guess 53 episodes makes sense because we had like an extra one here and there. So yeah, we had an official anniversary, and listener by the name of Lewis won. He's the winner. So, or
Luis, right?
I guess it's, I don't know. It's Luis.
I'm gonna go with Luis, man.
I'm gonna go with Lewis, but one or the other. He is the winner. He won. So congratulations to you.
Congrats, Luis. Good shit, man. We'll post it when this episode goes up.
Warren, I guess Warren did a cover too, and he had a little email. He says, "Hey, Virtual Pros. Congrats on 2 years, guys. I just recently got back into wrestling through a friend of mine that showed me Wrestle Kingdom 11. Okada versus Omega really hooked me. What would you guys say is the match that hooked you guys back into the King of Sports? Also, what would say is your favorite unheralded talent at the moment? Mine is Killian Dane. I just really loved that crossbody at TakeOver Brooklyn. Hope you enjoy the cover. Warren, aka Big Old Doinks the Clown, aka Kyrie Hojo, aka, but it's Ho-Joe, aka KRS One Winged Angel. That's pretty good. AKA Slay Mysterio, aka Shadow W Ecstasy, aka June Kasad Boy. P.S. I would love the hookup on a June Kasai fuck shirt, so hit me up if you find one. P.P.S. According to a rumor, Yoshitatsu has a huge dong.
No, come on. Let's not say that.
I don't know. I never really stopped. I mean, I take breaks from WWE. There's never like one match in WWE that makes me get back into it because all WWE matches are kind of whatever. But I'd say as far as other stuff, I definitely got more into New Japan after seeing that Honma Ishii matches from a couple years ago because they were like so brutal. And I was like, this is right up my alley. So I guess I would go with those.
Yeah, if we're talking straight up like King of Sports, New Japan, it has to be Kota Ibushi, Shinsuke Nakamura, Wrestle Kingdom 9. Incredible match. The last email, I think.
There's another one we skipped to. There's one from Bill that
I'll shit.
I'll just read after you read this one.
I'll read Bill's shit, man. Okay. What's up, Bill? No subject. That's cool. I like your email address, by the way. Hey guys, I've been listening for some time now, and I can't say how much a new episode brightens my day. Congrats on being on the Bloody Disgusting app and 50 plus episodes. Couple of questions. Sorry if these would seem more like Virtual Bros talk stuff. Don't worry, Bill. I like Virtual Bros talk stuff. You guys talk hip hop on occasion. Being from New York, Mike, which of these stables, quote unquote, do you rate highest? And which do you think is New York's version of the Dungeon of Doom? Wu-Tang Clan, Native Tongues, Dipset, Bad Boy. Al, who represents the Bay Area best. Too Short, Del, the Loonies. Man, my Bay Area pass just got revoked right now.
Seriously. They're in our fucking theme song, man. Jesus Christ.
Sometimes I just I got some kind of like speech issue, I feel like, or Paris.
No, I understand. You're like Umanga.
Umanga. I'm from Sacramento, so I get a pass sometimes, I feel like. Mike, on some kissing contest episodes, we need a new ep. You talk about your time in Albany. Do you think Albany hardcore was as good or better than New York? Did you ever see One King Down? Thanks, Bill, a.k.a. Chris, his hero is gone, a.k.a. Jason Rabies. Jason Ray, that guy who just shows up in FMW in 2001, teaming up with Jimmy Snuka.
First off, Al's going to get more shit for saying Albany instead of pronouncing the Loonies wrong, but it's Albany, but that's cool. A lot of people do that.
I don't care. You guys say Houston, man. Who cares, man? You guys say shit weirdly too. I don't care.
As far as the New York rap question, that's a tough one. I guess I'd say Dipset because they're the only ones that didn't get too horrible at the end, I think.
Dipset didn't get too horrible?
I mean, it's not great, but did you listen to that new Wu-Tang Clan record? Or anything they've done for the past 10 years?
I heard a clip of the new Wu album, and not for me. I forgot who said it on Twitter, but some guy was like, man, it's 2017 and Wu-Tang is still talking about beating people up. And I thought it was funny as shit. But this might be a hot take, but I'm a fan of the solo member albums more than I am of like the crew albums. So like Only Built is like much higher than 36 Chambers to me personally.
I don't know if I would say that, but I would say after that first full length, then it's all solo stuff. This double disc one it's too much, and anything after that, I don't really care for. So, as far as kissing contest, there has been a couple new episodes. I don't know if you've been paying attention there, Bill, but there's been some. There'll be a Thanksgiving one in a couple weeks. I have seen One King Down. I'm a friend. I'm in a room with people from Albany right now, so they laughed at me. So, but one of the places where we get our shirts printed at, he's a big wheel down at that Cracker Factory. So one of the guys from One King Down. So I'm in contact with him sort of regularly, I guess. So I see him here and there, but I've never seen them in Albany, actually, only in Connecticut. I would not say Albany hardcore is better than New York hardcore. That is ridiculous.
Who represents the Bay best out of Too Short, Del, the Loonies, or Paris?
Paris.
Man, yeah, man. Like that's my feelings too. I get that he's like a conscious rapper and people fuck with Paris, but just not for me. Like just like from a straight like longevity standpoint, like you can't like fuck with Short. Like he's the best. Like Del had his run with Hieroglyphics and like he had that track with the Gorillas, but I don't really associate Del with Bay Area rap the same way that I do Too Short. So
what about Too Short versus Mac Dre?
This one's tough because Mac Dre, like, I'm a fan of Mac Dre more than Too Short, but like it's because Mac Dre got shot that he didn't get the run that he should have had.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like how Biggie could have been the best rapper, but he only had 2 albums. It's kind of like one of those deals. Yeah. But just on a technicality, maybe Too Short. But Mac Dre, damn shame. Tosh, last email?
Last emails from the Tosh man, Brian. Questions for the pod bros. What's up, virtual pros? It's your boy, Mr. Why did a face Hogan cheat to eliminate a heel Sid in the 92 Rumble? I recently got an Uber after drinking for 13 hours and remarked to my friend when leaving the bar that I really hoped the driver would not try and talk to me as I did not have any earbuds. My friend was like, "You are rude. Maybe you'll make a new friend." Well, she was right, and boy, did I ever. I noticed the driver was rocking a Bullet Club hat the moment I got in, and for the next 20 minutes, I hit him with the hot fire pro wrestling hot takes. Cody, overrated. Sami Zayn needs to retire the torpedo DDT spot as a heel. ROH needs to push Dalton Castle more, in my opinion. I did not let him get a word in the entire ride. And as I got to my place, he turned around and made me too sweet him, which I shamefully did. My question is, if you bros got in an Uber and noticed the driver rocking some wrestling gear, would you chat them up about pro res? Thank you, and I'll hang up and listen. BWT. I wouldn't, just because I'm weird about talking to Uber drivers in general. So even if we were like wearing the same outfit, I'd probably try and avoid a question because I don't know. It's like you're paying them to drive you around. I don't know. I just feel weird about the whole situation to begin with. So I can't ever hold a conversation with them.
There wouldn't be one outfit where you're like, man, I got to talk to this guy. Like, say that your dude that was driving you, or female, was wearing like a Roman Reigns vest. Like, you would just like shut the fuck up. There's no way you wouldn't. You talk to him like a little bit about the Shield, I feel like.
Yeah, if he's wearing a Roman Reigns vest, that's an exception, I think. Or maybe if he was wearing the full John Cena cosplay with the jean shorts and the John Cena shirt and the wristbands, then maybe. It's also kind of weird that I guess Uber drivers could wear Bullet Club hats. That just seems very odd to me, though.
I think it depends on what we're wearing. Like, if they're wearing a Bullet Club hat, like if I was in your situation, you know what? I've been known to talk to Uber drivers. It's either that, like, I'm really chatty because I'm like usually coming home pretty fucked up, or I'm just sleeping. So I think either way, if they're wearing wrestling gear, I'm probably going to chop it up with them. No problem. I like talking. I think that was it, right?
Yeah, that was it.
Cool. Let's get into two-man scramble. So November 4th, that date marked the second year of us doing this shit. I'd like to thank you, Mike, for being the perfect partner in conquering the pro wrestling world. During this incredible run, what do you think your favorite accomplishment has been?
Favorite accomplishment. I don't know. I don't really
There's been a lot. So, I mean, like, it's, you got a litany to pick from, I feel like.
Yeah, I don't really know. It's fucking tough. I mean, the t-shirt stuff is cool, but I'm always into weirder shit. I'm still like, I'm still really impressed when I'll get into my two-man scramble. When you find out somebody you had no idea would ever listen to your show actually listens to it. And that's always like still surprising to me, where I'm just like, that's, not that I think only my friends listen to it, but I do think like a certain demographic of people listen to the show. So when it's outside of that realm, I'm always like a little shocked. So that's always makes me feel good inside, I guess you would say. Wrestlers actually being into it is, also a big accomplishment to me, because that proves that we're doing something good, at least.
Yeah,
that somebody in the business and the product is into it. So yeah, that kind of counts as a big one.
That's been pretty wild. I recently posted the selfie that Bull Nakano and I took. That was fucking crazy. The Bloody Disgusting deal was pretty sweet. The shirts thing, of course, has been awesome. Number one, though, Sasha Banks in my DMs. You cannot fuck with me. That happened. I'd like to give a little update regarding one prize from, I believe it was Summer Shame. It might have been Merchamania, but I no longer am the owner of a Roman Reigns vest because it went for $29.99 on eBay. Yeah, it's gone. I'm glad it's out of my house. It's kind of like a monkey off my back. I'd look at it and I was like, what am I doing here? Like, I have to hide this every time people come over. But there was this man that was trying to buy it for his son, and he had a litany of questions. He was like, will this fit him? He's an adult small, et cetera, et cetera. And I was like, well, it's adjustable. There are 6 straps. The shoulders, you can adjust. It should be no problem. And he was like, well, I get paid Thursday. Can I pay you then? And I was like, I don't know. Can you? Anyway, he did not end up with this because some other man from the Bay Area bought it. And he bought it for full price, $29.99. I kind of undercut everybody because people were selling them brand new with the Roman Reigns gloves for $60. So I guess I did someone a favor for a next Halloween or some shit. You're welcome, guy from Pleasant Hill. Hope you enjoy that. My last two-man scramble topic. WrestleMania tickets go on sale this month. Mike, are we going?
I'm still debating going to New Orleans. I don't want to go to WrestleMania. I don't want to do that. It's fucking 5 or 6 hours long. I already looked. Like, the cheapest ticket is around $100, and for like the nosebleed seats, and I'm not doing that. Like, I might go to hang out though. It sounds like a fun time. I'd rather go and hang out and do all the stupid indie shit, and then get drunk with a bunch of people and watch WrestleMania in an Airbnb or somewhere else in a bar or something.
So there's nothing that will talk you into going on Sunday to WrestleMania.
Only if my ticket was free, and then I think I would consider it.
Okay. Stanford, I know you're listening. I see that IP address when I look at the stats. Let us in for free. New contest.
Yeah. Get us on that guest list, that WrestleMania guest list.
Get us on that guest list. Yeah, if Shinsuke AJ happens and Shinsuke wins the title, is this going to be his first Mania? I'm pretty compelled to go. As of now, I think Nola's a go for me as well. So maybe I'll see you there. The Janela show probably would be pretty sweet.
Yeah. I mean, I would definitely be down for TakeOver. I'm sure that's going to be awesome.
Yeah, TakeOver's going to be pretty fucking good too, I bet. That was the last topic I had for two-man scramble.
Okay. I don't have many either because a little behind the curtain. We're probably going to have to record next week because it's Thanksgiving the week after, and we're probably going away. So
yeah,
I got all my B material waiting for next week. Just in case, so I only have a few. Although one of them is the New Japan, the last New Japan, which I'm just going to say was Power Struggle, but I'll get that to the last because I have 3 lengthy things to talk about that. The first thing though is I just alluded to it. There is a person we talked about on the last episode named Fred Benson. He's a guy I follow on Instagram. He eats chips and he like reviews them. And Al doesn't like him. Al hates him.
I don't hate him. Stop it. Fred, if you're listening, Fred's handler, I don't hate him. Go ahead.
So last episode, we were talking about people we follow on Instagram. And we're talking about celebrities I follow. And I said Boban, the basketball player on Detroit Pistons, the backup center. I was like, he's the only celebrity I follow. And Al was like, what about Fred Benson? And I was like, no, he's just a regular guy, or he's just a guy. And so fast forward about a week later, not even, I don't think. It was like the next day. Al's like, text me, and he's like, I bet you like that last Fred Benson Instagram. And I'm like, I don't know what Al's talking about. So like I scroll and I see Fred Benson dressed up in like kind of like a wrestler outfit. And I was just like, oh, that's pretty funny. And I hit like play on the sound part, and I hear my voice on a Fred Benson Instagram video, and I just start to shriek like in the middle of work. I'm just like, what is going on? And Fred Benson's like, he hears that part where I said he's just a guy, and Fred Benson like then proceeds to cut a promo on us. And I was like so excited about this. Like, I think I just got up and left work. Like, I left all my stuff on and I just left. I couldn't handle this. This was just like, I don't know. It was like I said, it's just like one of those things you never imagine happening. And I was just like, oh my God, this is crazy. Then I felt bad because I was like, maybe Fred Benson does think we really think we don't like him. But of course I like him. I wouldn't follow him if I didn't like him. I think Fred Benson's the best. So sorry for the misunderstanding, Fred, and Fred's friend, whoever listens to the podcast. And again, I'll get into that after. But yeah, so I just sent Fred off some nice snacks. So hopefully he gets those soon. I hope the beef is squashed, Fred. I love your videos. I look forward to them. I tell all my friends about them. I wish they were on YouTube so I could just watch them all the time on my TV, but Instagram will suffice for now. But yeah, this actually led to something else that Al kind of thinks about a little more than me. But I mean, it kind of seeps into my brain too, that we think maybe there's some haters out there that just like listen to this podcast just to hear who we talk shit about and then send them the podcast. Cause this has happened a few times now, and it's a bit airy because it's like people you don't expect to ever listen to this podcast. So if you are actually like some sleeper cell, like mole people out there that are just hating on us, send this podcast to people, let us know, because I'd like to know if that's your motivation, like how I listen to the Ryback podcast. But I assume whoever is at that tattoo shop that Fred hangs out with, I assume they legitimately listen to this podcast. But I don't know. I don't know those people, so it is kind of weird. But
yeah, Fred Benson. This is Al. Yeah, the way that came off was like, it was a lot more intense than like I intended. I said that it was horrifying. Not so much, Fred. Like, it takes people like longer to recognize the art. And after I saw your video, I was like, you know what? Fred Benson is a celebrity, and it's not horrifying.
Yeah, for real. You can ask anybody. I spend a disgusting amount of time watching people review snacks on the internet. I spend like most of my free time doing that. I spend more time watching that than I watch wrestling, and I do a wrestling podcast. So, and I think Fred Benson is probably the best, probably in the top one or two. No, definitely the best. He's the best. He only has the handicap of being on Instagram, so I can't watch him all the time. But his videos are the best. So if you haven't checked him out, it's Fred Benson _69. He has the best snack review videos that I think I've ever seen.
People get better every day. That's what I'm trying to do. And I hope you accept our apology, Fred. My bad. Please call the goons off. I believe when you said that people are waiting for us, that was a real threat. Just call them off, man. I get some wild texts sometimes and I'm like, man, Fred has some clout out here, and I don't want any problems. So, yeah, Fred, we're good. I hope.
I'm within driving distance from him, so I'm more afraid, but hopefully it's done. Speaking of which, just a little spring cleaning after that. It was mentioned that email about Jim from Virginia. I feel really bad now because I haven't heard him calling into the Brian Alvarez show as much anymore. I hope he's okay. I hope we didn't fuck up the wrestling ecosystem with our podcast, because it's the last thing I want to do.
Yo, Jim, hit us up about that Minami Toyota retirement show, man. What did you think, man? 50 minutes, 50 people? It's kind of wild, right?
It is.
I don't know.
Next up is, we rarely, if ever, talk about TNA on this podcast. We had, I think, one TNA, maybe two TNA matches on the mixtape.
Yeah.
And this isn't even really TNA news, but it sort of is. If you've been following the show for a long time, Al is a big fan of a man named Wei Ting and his show on live audio wrestling. Recently, live audio wrestling on all of its radio shows have been canceled after about 20 years. And the reason is because TNA is hemorrhaging money, and they need to make they need to cut costs. So they cut all of their, because the same people who own live audio wrestling own TNA now. So they had to cut all the radio shows in order to save money for TNA. So Al, how upset are you at TNA right now that they cut your favorite radio show in the world?
I legit didn't know that was the reason.
Yeah, I heard about it on Wrestling Observer, and I was like, oh man, I can't wait to bring this up on the show, because Al's going to be so upset.
I'm speechless. I'm so mad. That's the reason. Anthem was like, it's between running Bound for Glory or cutting the God podcast of John Pollock and Wei Ting. Are you serious?
I'm very serious. That is the dead truth.
Yo, we're not sending any more like seed t-shirts to any TNA talent. That's it. Y'all are dead out here. Have you listened to their new show? Because I haven't, but I listened to the first episode, not the most recent one. Like, it's on archive.org. I'm not sure if they have an iTunes feed yet, but yeah, I mean, I don't think you listen to them, but they're legit like the most insightful like wrestling podcasts. Like, they do what we can't do. So that's why we carved out this lane of like talking about Hayabusa pants.
Yeah,
and,
I mean,
athleticism. I
go in little phases. Like, I'll listen to them for like 6 months and then take 6 months off. So I hear you. I'm off for now, but is the new show, does it still capture the magic of the old show, or is it different?
Well, the one that I heard, they're just reviewing Raw, but like their banter's so good. Like, I like those guys a lot.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
Okay. Before I get into the New Japan talk, Twitter and Instagram of the week, and it's a little overdue. Ooh. It's a woman by the name of her handle on, I think, Twitter and Instagram is Hi5AME. That's all one word. She lives in England, I believe. And she's, if you follow like Bahu or Chris Charlton or people like that, all she really does is like post old pictures, and she translates like old Japanese wrestling stuff including Akira Hokuto's cookbook and stuff like that. She has a blog, and it's really interesting. And she has criminally low followers. Like, she's under 200 followers, and there's people who do way less on the internet and that has way more followers. So if you're into that kind of like old Japanese wrestling shit, she does a lot of Noah stuff too, which I'm kind of unfamiliar with Noah, so it's cool when she posts that stuff. She does Noah stuff, like everything. So follow her. It's Hi5AME. It's I think she's a little more active on Twitter than she is on Instagram, but she has them both.
Yep, real informative.
Yeah. Okay, so this New Japan pay-per-view, it had a lot of stuff happen. A lot of stuff. It was probably the most story-filled New Japan pay-per-view in quite a while. I'll start with the least coolest thing, I guess, was okay, so before I start with that, so I woke up the day of, I didn't watch it live or anything, and I knew I was going to watch in the morning, but I still instinctively like checked Twitter, and I saw Chris Jericho showed up immediately. I was like, God damn it. I would have fucking freaked out if I saw that live. So then I watched it. I didn't check anything else on Twitter after that. So I watched it and I was like, oh, he's Switchblade. I guess that's cool. I wasn't expecting that. And so I didn't know there was actually another Switchblade. So then I watch a show and gets to the main event, which is Tanahashi and Ibushi. Match ends. Tanahashi's doing his shtick with his air guitar, and it's going on for way too long. And I'm only watching because I'm like, somebody has to challenge this guy. Like, he can't just go unchallenged into Wrestle Kingdom. And sure enough, that Switchblade video comes up, and I was like, oh, I thought this was Chris Jericho. There still is a Switchblade. And it turns out to be Jay White, who's a wrestler that's been with New Japan for a minute. And what do you think of this makeover, Al? Are you into this?
No.
Okay.
It was pretty dorky.
Yeah, he's just like, I made this tweet on Twitter, but he looks like JP from Grandma's Boy, who's like the evil genius video game kid in it, who's like he wants metal legs, he wants robot legs. He has like the same outfit as that dude, and he looks like that dude too. And I don't know, man, you can't have like this bad biker, like leather jacket man kind of costume and have like the face of like a 17-year-old. Like, it just looks like, I don't know, it looks like he just wants to smoke cigarettes all the time, which there's nothing wrong with that. Smoking cigarettes is cool as hell, but like, I don't know, he doesn't look menacing. So for him to be like this new menacing character is kind of just like, I think I would have liked it more if he just stayed wrestling in panties the whole time, basically.
I think it'd be cooler if he just had a real knife instead of like a necklace with a knife on it. I don't know, just me. If he like learned some knife tricks and shit, like if he twirled it around, I'd have been like, all right. But,
I also assume he's going to get integrated into one of the New Japan crews at some point, because like if he's just like a loner, like it's going to be even worse. But if he's in like Bullet Club or Chaos or something, you'll forget about him after a while. So it won't be it won't stand out as much, because right now it's just kind of like, I don't know. I mean, it's a Japanese promotion, so they just see a white guy, so they probably don't understand like how young and like not tough he looks. But I don't know. It's a bad look, I think. If
they go that route, he's going to join LIJ. I mean, as a LIJ fan, you okay with that?
Why wouldn't you think he would?
I don't know yet. I mean, like, if he's going to ride this whole, like, rebellious knife pervert thing, like, it's only natural that he joins LIJ. Like, Bullet Club is all foreign talent, so maybe, but my initial thought was LIJ if he does join.
Here's a little conspiracy theory, not to get too off topic, that I never want to tweet, because I don't want it to be taken the wrong way, because I know people get a little sensitive on the Twitter. But isn't it kind of weird that there's the Bullet Club and there's the Elite, and all the Elite are white people and all the rest of the Bullet Club are the non-whites? That's kind of fucked up. I just noticed that. Just want to point that out. We move on now. I don't want any more commentary on that. I'm just saying, you watch, it seems everybody who gets to be an Elite is a white person, and then you have Tama Tonga and all his bros, and they're just the Bullet Club. And fucking Tokyo Pimp, and and Bad Luck Fale, who's been the Bullet Club member the longest. Like, he doesn't get to be in the Elite. That's real suspect.
Damn, that's woke as fuck, Mike. I'm into it. That's a real good conspiracy theory, actually.
It is. So Chris Jericho debuted, and of course, my first thought was, what does the internet think of this? Because that's all I care about. And I was surprised. I basically thought everybody who's hated Chris Jericho for the past few years of him being kind of mediocre were going to flip flop immediately. And I will give people credit; they stood their ground. They're still not in this idea of Chris Jericho, having this crazy match in New Japan. And there are some people that genuinely are into it. And I think some people, like the most hardcore Japanese wrestling fans, think this is like a disgrace, and they're going to commit seppuku like immediately because this is just like going to ruin Wrestle Kingdom for them somehow. So it's like it's a roller coaster of emotions on the internet. I, for one, I think it's pretty cool. I haven't liked the last two iterations of Jericho. Like the last time I thought he was doing good was when he was in that feud with CM Punk, which was a few iterations ago. People like that list shit. I thought it got annoying super quick. I don't even remember what he was doing before then. Oh, he lost to Fandango at WrestleMania. If the rumors are true, WWE did not know this until it was announced on the New Japan show. So he'll definitely be losing to Fandango again if he ever shows up in WWE again. He's definitely going to be losing to Fandango a lot, or like Connor from the Ascension. But no, I'm pumped for it. Chris Jericho, outside of his last few years, has always been one of my all-time favorite wrestlers. I think he wouldn't be doing this if he didn't think he could go. And at the same time, I think Kenny Omega's smart enough where he's like, look, I'm not going to have some like dumbass match just to have it. So I think these two dudes are going to put on at least an entertaining match. I don't know if it's going to be like a technical display of wizardry or anything like that, but I do think it's going to be a great match. What do you think, Al?
Yeah, man, I saw the crying on the internet. It was pretty funny. And they were just like, I think the consensus was like, New Japan is conceding work rate to put on a spectacle. It's fucking pro wrestling. Of course, that's what you want to do.
Yeah.
Like, at the end of the day, you want to sell tickets. You want to expand your audience. And like, what a way to do it, to have some guy that's thought of as like a WWE lifer to show up at the competition's like biggest show of the year. I think it's incredible.
Yeah.
Like, is it going to be like some work rate, like intense 60 or 6-star match? No, but you have Okada Naito as the main event. So you have that bubble filled. Like, I like a show with variety. And since this was announced, like, I watched it live, and that surprise, like, blew me the fuck away. Like, I thought it was just going to be some guy like Sami Callihan or possibly Ryback. So I was expecting that. And so to see Chris Jericho show up, like, yeah, what a buzz going into this show. I'm really excited for it. Do I think they're just going to wow everybody? Like, Chris Jericho's 46?
47, I think.
Okay. Yeah. It's not Lionheart anymore. I get it. We saw Onita as like a 59-year-old man, like, captivate everyone in a building. So like, I'm not expecting this, nor do I think it's going to reach some like high peak of work rate.
Yeah.
And I don't think that's the intention. I just think they're putting on a spectacle, and that's fine. It's fake fighting. That's what it's supposed to be at the end of the day.
If it was Ryback, I would have shit my pants. I would have just shit my pants right there. Right in the morning, just shit my pants, and I had to go buy new pants.
Wait, so he didn't bring it up during his podcast?
No, his podcast was, I believe, recorded the day before, because it was recorded Game 7 in the World Series, which was a day or two before. Actually, it might have been a few days before. Actually, so my last real big hot take coming out of New Japan is this co-main event. So I was pretty pumped about this card. All in all, because it's like, I'd say it was just like, on paper, it was like the most, I guess, like, most oddball New Japan card in a long time. Like, the 4 top things were Tanahashi versus Ibushi, and Ibushi's still kind of like an outsider, and that was like the main event. Kenny Omega versus Trent Beretta, which is like a kind of a new match. Fucking Suzuki and Toru Yano in a bull rope match, which they've never done a bull rope match in New Japan, so that was weird. And then a junior match featuring 2 British dudes for the championship, which is like another thing that's like doesn't really happen in Japan. So I was like pretty pumped about the variety on this card. And then the Kenny Omega Trent Beretta match happened, and that match was 23 minutes long, and it was an epic back and forth. And right after that match, I realized I don't want to see Kenny Omega fight Trent Beretta for 23 minutes in an epic back and forth match. I don't think everybody in New Japan should be like the same power. Like, I don't think just because you are in like the co-main event, you have the same amount of power as the guy you're fighting, and like Trent Beretta is just like some fucking tag team dude for like the past 1,000,000 years, and like I understand they're trying to make a star out of him or something, but they didn't even do anything before this. It was just like he went from being Trent Beretta, the guy in that tag team with Rocky Romero for how many fucking years, 1,000,000, and right up to going toe to toe with like their second top star. And the guy who's probably going to win Wrestler of the Year. And like, it's just like, well, I mean, I don't think, I'm not going to call him the Wrestler of the Year. I'm just saying like, he'll probably be the consensus Wrestler of the Year. And I don't know, like, are you into that kind of like, I guess parody in wrestling, in New Japan wrestling, where it's just like, if you're in the main event, you're automatically as powerful as the guy you're facing? Like, fucking Kenny Omega should have washed this dude in like 10 minutes. And like, so after watching that, I was like, this is like, I hope this isn't New Japan forever. Like, they don't do shit like this all the time, because I'm going to get sick of it after a while, I think.
Now that you put it that way, it's pretty interesting because, I mean, like, I think this is like his heavyweight debut. No, I think he wrestled like fucking Tokyo Pimp.
Yeah.
Or some shit. Yeah, if they all of a sudden, even the Jay White thing, all of a sudden, like Jay White goes from young boy to wrestling Tanahashi, it's a little weird.
Yeah.
I mean, I get that you want to like make your new characters look strong, but I mean, it has to be like the right people. And like, I'm not the biggest fan of Trent Beretta or Jay White, so I don't know. This might be.
There's nothing wrong with Trent Beretta, but like, it's just like he had this match. It was 23 minutes long for some reason. And now he's just back in the World Tag League with just some fucking random bozo. Oh, with Chuck Taylor as his.
Oh, Chuck Taylor, yeah.
So he's just going to be some bozo in the tag league. And it's just like, I don't know, man. Like, I understand you gotta do what you gotta do, but you could also just have Kenny Omega just beat the shit out of somebody and like, it would be fine. So I don't know. That match just rubbed me the wrong way, basically.
That sliding German suplex, though, whew, that was nice.
Yeah, it was technically like a great match. It was just like, I think sometimes you need to have like a little difference in your match styles.
I'm with you. That'd have been funny though if Kenny did wash him like in 2 minutes after like a one-winged angel. I'd have been with that. Oh, you want to talk about this umbrella that debuted recently on New Japan Shop?
Yeah. So they made a Marty Scurll Bullet Club umbrella, and it basically, when you fold it up, it just looks like a rifle. And you can only sell that in Japan because you can't sell it in America with the gun laws and the people getting fucking dying in mass shootings every week now. I'm very glad this umbrella is around $55 American, and after like the $25 shipping, you're looking at about an $80 umbrella. So you have to be like the supreme Bullet Club edgelord to even like think about buying this umbrella and importing it to America. Thank God, because it's just like, it's a bad idea. But like I said on Twitter, if we were living in a different climate, I don't see anything wrong with it. I think it's a pretty unique piece of merchandise, but it's just, and the people saying that it's in poor taste, like, you gotta realize this is in Japan where no one owns guns. So it's not like in poor taste for them. They just think it's like a funny thing. So I don't know.
I sent Mike a picture of something that I recently sold. So Bullet Club fans, I got nothing bad to say about you guys. We're all good. Today's topic, bringing it back. The Virtual Pros discuss antiquated and rarely used wrestling tropes that we'd like to see become popular again. Please stay tuned.
Drop it for a nigga. Back that ass up like it's 1999. Back that ass up like it's 1999. Back that ass up like it's 1999. Baby, let me drop it for me one more time. Girl, you working with some ass, yeah. You bad, yeah. Making niggas spend this cash, yeah. You slash, yeah. Girl, you working with some ass, yeah. You bad, yeah. Making niggas spend this cash.
She say I only love the way she drop it. Well, maybe so. She say I'll probably leave if she don't pop it. We'll never know, cause she get dying on it. Scrub the grind on it. With no shame, give her time on it. Roll a rind on it. Do her thing. I ain't the type to trick, but she go hard for the call.
Okay, we're back here on Virtual Pros, episode 53, the second year anniversary. And for this episode, we decided the main topic should be bringing it back. Stuff that we want brought back in wrestling, maybe things that have went out of style in wrestling, just things that got a little antiquated that we believe should be brought back. As usual, I kind of broke my own rules, and I have three altogether. I have two pretty basic bitch picks, and then one pretty abstract pick that doesn't even really make any sense. But so the first thing I want brought back in wrestling, and it's probably the one thing that people talk about the most, is managers, but not the way people talk about bringing back managers, because I think everybody says that, and they're not descriptive enough about it. And I want managers to come back, but I want it to be like how it used to be in WWF, where there was like 5 managers. There's Bobby the Brain. There was Mr. Fuji. There was Slick after a while. I guess you could count Oliver Humperdinck, even though he really only managed Bam Bam Bigelow. Jim Cornette was in there for a minute. But basically, you just had these guys. So anytime a new bad guy came in, you were like, I wonder what manager he's going to go with. So it wasn't like they were just a manager just for the fuck of it, because they have those now. Like Paul Heyman manages Brock Lesnar. Maurice is with The Miz. And, they have these guys here and there. But I just want it where there's just like a constant like roster of managers that are always around, and they're always picking up random dudes, and it doesn't have to be a fucking stable. I seen they're doing that for a minute with Paul Heyman when he was managing CM Punk and Brock Lesnar and Burt Axel out of the blue. And then they realized Burt Axel kind of sucks, so they just kind of forgot about that after a while. But yeah, that's kind of what I want. I just want these manager characters that are always around, that I don't have to worry about disappearing once like a wrestler disappears, because I think that's fucking dumb. Stokely Hathaway is like the only one I can think of on like the independent level that's kind of like that kind of framework of a manager. And so yeah, they're pretty rare, and anywhere, not even just WWE.
I'm with all that. My first one is steroids. No, I'm just kidding. No, my first one is very similar to yours. It's something that like I don't think has happened in the past like 20 years. Like definitely not this decade. I mean, I understand why, because of like logistics and like how much of a pain like it'd be like to travel with, but like going by like my Facebook timeline, like going by my like coworkers, like conversations that I overhear, I think like this would garner like an insane reaction still. And that's having animal valets. It's always like done by people that are good guys, but like what if a heel like was accompanied to the ring by like some kind of like normal dog or some shit, like a Labrador, but like maybe like he dressed it up like an obnoxious way, or maybe he'd play like cruel tricks, like, pretending to throw the ball like down the ramp, but like he held on to the ball the entire time. Or like leaving a dog hanging for like a high five. Like I feel like this could like generate like humongous heel heat, like amongst people that I talk to at work, like the people that I'm like friends with on Facebook. And like it could be like this counterweight to like all these videos that I see on Facebook set to whimsical music. By the way, I'm a fan of all of these, but I do think like having a bad guy with like a normal ass dog would be like the hottest act in the WWE if done right.
Yeah, I can't even think of the last time somebody had an animal valet. I guess it would still be Jake the Snake, because he rode that out for a while. But outside of him, yeah, I mean, I guess logistically, it's just a pain in the ass to have animal valets. They could test that out in NXT though, see how it goes. They have enough fucking dumb wrestlers hanging around in NXT where they could test out the animal valet, I think.
Like if Tino Sabatelli had a Chihuahua, man, oh my God, bring his ass up. He's sick.
Yeah, so NXT, if you're listening, stick somebody with an animal valet, see how it goes. My next one is something that probably doesn't even logistically work anymore, but I don't give a shit. And it is the TV title. TV title's always been my favorite title. I don't understand why they never brought this back in NXT. Why NXT, they film fucking 4 episodes at once. They only defend their titles at takeovers like once every 3 months. Just have a fucking TV title that's defended every week. Just stick it on some bozo wrestler that's never going anywhere, never leaving NXT, and just have them defend it every once in a while. I remember back in the old days, and I think before NXT, when it was FCW, they had that 15-minute title that was kind of like the TV title. And they don't have any other belts in NXT. They just have the one belt, the main one, and the tag team title. So you have room for a TV title. You have so many wrestlers down there. All my Steve Regal was probably one of my favorite TV champions. Chris Benoit, of course. That whole Chris Benoit Booker T best of 7 for the TV title was like one of my favorite things in wrestling. So just bring back that fucking TV title.
Okay, 2 things. The TV title in WCW, that was a 20-minute time limit? Was that how it was?
I think it was like 15 or 20.
Secondly, to the other belt collectors out there, what's the worth on TV titles? I'd like to know. Like, I bet they're not as expensive as the US titles, but
you probably have to go to some special weirdo to get like a replica of that made. I don't think that's something you could just buy. I don't know though.
Oh shit. Yeah. Okay.
Email us, Virtual Pros. You probably have to go wherever the theme went to get his big gold belt.
You got to go to China and Alibaba to get that fucking TV title. Okay, my second one. The reason why this is probably phased out is because there's only one show in the game these days, and that's the WWE. But back in my I know the biz days, as a teenager, I was it was always kind of like a nerd treat for me, kind of like an Easter egg when I'd pick up on darts announcers would throw at other promotions. Joey Styles was the king of this. He'd always be throwing shade on WCW. And I think to build up brand loyalty again, I think announcers should do this again, which is send darts at rival promotions. I think it's pretty petty, but I think Twitter would get a kick out of the New Japan commentators, making fun of Patrick Clark for trying to name his elbow drop the Purple Rainmaker, but then getting in trouble for it. Or maybe Michael Cole makes fun of direct to garment shirts on air. Or maybe Dolph Ziggler at 6 a.m. He posts New Japan spoilers on Instagram. I think it'd be great for all people around. I think the wrestling news sites be buzzing, etc. So I do think more ball busting in wrestling should happen. I want this to come back.
2 things about that. I can tell you never watched the English language commentary on New Japan because I wouldn't say they do ball busting so much, but they do mention Stamford a lot, and it's real annoying.
Do they?
I hate it. But no, I know what you're saying though. I think if there was room for it, it'd be more funny. And what made me think of that is before it even happened, if you guys haven't watched yet, if you're a little behind, AJ Styles won the SmackDown Championship on SmackDown yesterday, but it was pre-taped because it was in England. And Brian Alvarez was talking about this shit last week. He was there's something going on. They wouldn't have this match if he wasn't winning the title, blah, blah, blah. And I was thinking about those old school Monday Night Wars days. And I was they're probably doing this shit on purpose because it's pre-taped and they want these nerds on the internet to talk about it. And they want that fucking reverse psychology. Because they always said that turned the Monday Night Wars when Tony Schiavone announced Mankind winning the belt on Raw because it was pre-taped, and I was they want that rating spike, and I'm standing by that. They did that on purpose to get a rating spike to have from AJ Styles win the belt, but I don't know if that's true, but I think that goes along with your little thing there.
Well, do you think it's because Kevin Kelly might not be that good at ball busting? Or is it just kind of
I think
stupid?
They're all just too shook to do that, man. I saw the piece of the Cisco up after that Bullet Club invasion thing. They're just we don't need that, man. TNA, that's the last thing TNA needs. That's definitely the last thing TNA needs. Also, no one watches TNA, so you can't. They probably do it all the time. We just don't know.
Oh yeah, TNA's dead to me now.
I don't think Lucha Underground. I think once in a while they would do it, but not really. My last one is abstract because it doesn't have anything to do with the business, but just the wrestling culture in general. And I genuinely miss it. And I don't even know what to call it, but I don't want to say tape trading because I don't ever want to have to trade tapes again. But
nah, hell no.
But I miss unique variety, I guess you would say. Because people make comp tapes, Rob Naylor made comp tapes, Phil Schneider from Death Valley Driver, High Spots would sell comp tapes. I remember they had best of different years comp tapes, and I remember watching that best of 1994 Japan over and over and over again. And just all these weird people would make comp tapes, and you'd get them, and it would just be It's kind of just like when you get a mixtape from somebody of music and stuff. And I think we sort of do that with our mixtape. That's why I enjoy doing it, because Al usually picks matches I would otherwise never seek out. So like I'm always getting a little taste of something I would otherwise never watch. And I think that's like kind of missing these days. Like most kids that are into wrestling now, they all watch the same shit. We all have the same streaming services. We're all watching the same GIFs. Like it's all the same shit over and over again. And no one has like kind of a unique view anymore. And I kind of miss that. It's like everybody just like likes the same stuff, and it's kind of boring. And I kind of wish there's a little more variety and uniqueness. But I know it's kind of impossible unless you like go out of your way to be a weirdo. But yeah, it sucks that something like that can't really ever come back.
That is kind of weird that there's like not one like tastemaker these days that can assemble a list of like shit you should watch, and given all the mediums that are out there, like well, you can't really like strip like content from streaming services. So that's kind of tough.
Yeah, that's the thing. Like the most we can do is make like this YouTube playlist, and that's still like
right.
Yeah, but yeah, you can't really like fucking IVP videos and those dudes. They make like comp tapes, but it's just them. Like those are the only ones. So
yeah,
there's no variety in that. And I think it's mostly like the GIF people now. They have all the power because they're like. That's all people watch is fucking GIFs now. They don't even watch wrestling matches.
Yeah, or like an era of like immediacy. So I don't know if there's some guy that wants to step up and be like tastemaker of like weird shit. I kind of wish that would happen.
We are the tastemakers now. That's what we're doing with this mixtape. That's what we're doing.
I know. That's what I was getting at. My last, I guess thing that I wish would come back. So like it seems like Masada's like the only modern wrestler these days that does this, but I feel like other wrestlers like that don't really have a character or like a thing, like they could be missing out on like good merch opportunities or like establishing a brand if they went like this path. And that's wrestlers having signature weapons. I don't see that like anymore. Like, people back in our day, back in simpler times, like Mr. Pogo, he had the scythe, like Sandman with the Singapore cane. Like Funk came out with like the flaming brands. Like the list goes on and on. But like, I don't know why there isn't some sort of like equivalent in like today's WWE. Like my nomination would be like Jason Jordan and like him carrying a taser because like that's the wussiest weapon. And like people would boo the shit out of him if he like taser people, like he was like the Mountie or like if that was his signature prop. But I don't know why people don't do this anymore. Like, I can't even think of anyone in recent memory aside from Masada and his skewers that has like some kind of signature prop. I guess Kairi Sane has her pirate wheel, but she's not like hitting people with it. They should come back for bad guys, I think.
Yeah, seriously. And not just to WWE either, because there's tons of indie wrestlers that don't. I remember, Madman Pondo's still around. He used to carry a stop sign. Even back before like all that hardcore shit, Hercules used to have that chain. Like that was scary. Right. Yeah, bad guys definitely need to do that some more. That's a very smart pick, I think.
We want weapons, man. Up next, the mixtape with Crazy Crusher, Shinsuke Nakamura, and Unadon of a Panda and the Steiner Brothers. Please stay tuned. With episode 53, the 2-year anniversary of Virtual Pros. If you haven't already, hit us on Twitter and Instagram at VRTL Pros. Hit us on SoundCloud, hit that heart. I like it. Leave us a review on iTunes. And if you haven't already, download that Bloody Disgusting app. Have all of our episodes in the palm of your hands. We got a pretty nice variety of clips tonight for you guys. I'll start off. I picked a sub 6-minute clip. The title of this video is called The Artist and the Gourmet. I'm gonna come clean, Mike. Virtual Bros, I mean. We need to figure out a way to bring it back. Like, I really miss it. I miss talking about food, and I low-key think other people miss it too. Listeners, let us know. Off top, without Googling it, do you know who Greg Hamilton
No,
is,
I still
Mike?
don't know who he is, and I looked it up.
He's a ring announcer for the
Yeah,
WWE.
I read it. One of the comments under the video says, "Oh, my favorite ring announcer," and I was like, maybe he ring announces for something else, because I don't think he ring announces for WWE. He's on TV?
I think so.
No, he's not. He's not on fucking TV.
Oh my
Dude,
god! So Greg Hamilton,
TV, he has 922 subscribers on fucking YouTube. He's not on TV.
So Greg Hamilton, he created a YouTube channel that's presumably going to be like focusing on his travel adventures on the road while announcing for the WWE. Allegedly, his first guest, it's the King of Strong Style, Shinsuke Nakamura, and this episode takes place in one of my favorite eating cities in America, Honolulu. Mike, off the top of your head, where are your 3 favorite cities to eat at, and what do they offer that's so special?
Well, New York, obviously. They offer everything.
Yeah.
Man, I haven't been to it in a minute, but Providence had like some super fucking good food too. But I haven't been there. Yeah, I haven't been there in a while though, so I don't know if the statute of limitations wore out on that. Third? I don't really know, man. I think those are my only 2 really.
Man, I thought Chicago was wild underrated.
Yeah.
Chicago's like one of my recent like favorite like cities to eat
I would
at.
need to go there a couple more times, but yeah, they're definitely up there for food.
Oh, that fat rice, good grief. So their first stop, Craig Hamilton and Shinsuke Nakamura, they go to Marukume Udon, which is a fantastic move. I've been there before. I got the cold udon here, and it was like really, really solid. Their whole deal here is that you get to pick an assortment of like udon styles. There's a curry udon, which is really good. They have a niku udon, which is like udon topped with like onions and like beef. And the bukake udon, which is udon topped with some sort of sauce, and it's not what you think it is. They afterwards, after eating udon, they hang out in Waikiki, have a good time, and then they go eat yakiniku, which is like Korean barbecue, but like on like a wire grill. And Shinsuke, he orders shit like beef tongue and small intestine, which makes me think that like he's a real fucking eater, because that's what you get when you like eat at these places. I think this show has some like legs to it, but I do hope that they cover cities like Davenport, Iowa, or like Dayton, Ohio, because I do want to see what like Shinsuke's like McDonald's order is. I'd be pretty interested in that. Mike, what'd you think?
So yeah, I wouldn't know what to expect coming in this video. Like I said, I had to look around and see what the fuck was going on. I first didn't know if this was just some fan following Shinsuke Nakamura around. And then I was like, I guess he works for the WWE. He has WWE in his screen name, but he doesn't have like a check mark or anything that would like, you know, he definitely made this with like no web skills at all. He made his YouTube page with no web skills. So it's kind of hard to imagine somebody that's employed by the WWE would make such a bunk ass looking YouTube channel. But that's what it is. So yeah, allegedly he's an announcer for the WWE and he's following Shinsuke Nakamura around. The first thing I noticed, it's really the second thing. The second thing I noticed is he's wearing a Rehab shirt, which is that horrible club. And I think Vegas, is it Vegas? I think.
Yeah, it's in Vegas.
They used to have a reality show that I used to hate watch because it was just like the most horrible douchebags on earth. So I automatically hate this guy. I think he's a douchebag because, like, not only did he go to rehab, he enjoyed it enough to buy a shirt and wear it out in public. So I think he's a douche. Also, this whole video, Shinsuke seems kind of annoyed. He seems kind of annoyed by these guys' questions. That's kind of why initially I thought maybe he was just a fan, because he seems real annoyed by this whole presentation. And it made me wonder, because this video was released last month, and there has not been a follow-up video yet, and that's made me wonder, maybe that's why there hasn't been a follow-up videos, because this dude is kind of an annoying guy, and no one wants to fucking Dolph Ziggler doesn't want to like be seen at I don't know, someplace in Cleveland with this guy or something like that. So I don't know. I mean, maybe Shinsuke's not annoyed, but he does seem annoying. I guess, I would mildly recommend this if you're into real odd WWE stuff that is not on their, that they're not pushing on their social media. Like, you don't see a lot of that, really. So
Right.
it's kind of like very amateur WWE stuff. So check it out, I guess. I don't know. I wasn't really that entertained, honestly, but it's on our mixtape. So go check it out. Go on YouTube and type in Virtual Pros mixtape and you'll find it. So my first match of the night was from Big Japan. I believe it was a month or two ago, if that. And it was Andre the Giant Panda versus Stan the Lariat Abdullah Kobayashi. And this was, Abdullah Kobayashi, famous deathmatch wrestler, fighting a man, or at least I would assume a man or a woman, it could be, in a gigantic panda outfit. And by gigantic, I mean at least 9 feet. Like, I think this thing is 9 or 10 feet tall. I chose this match just because the screenshot alone made me very curious, and several people were like, hey, you should put that match on the mixtape. So I did. And honestly, this match isn't really like, there's not a lot to talk about. I would still recommend watching it because it's fucking surreal to watch. You watch a man wrestle this guy in a fucking 10-foot panda outfit. This is one of those videos that's in some kind of weird security camera footage type shot. So, looks like snuff porn because it's like such low quality, but that's what you get from this Big Japan. My main question coming out of this was, do you think that's a one-off panda suit? Do you think that's the only one that exists? Or do you think there's a company that sells these panda suits? And if they do, why do you think they make them?
This is not a one-off. They sell these like probably like everywhere.
Everywhere, dude. They're 10 feet
why do they
tall.
make
Come on,
them?
man. They don't sell them everywhere.
Oh, they absolutely do, Mike. Trust me. Like, you can buy these at like the corner store in Japan, I bet. In Tokyo. No
I don't
problem.
know, man. People are really impressed by this thing. I don't think it's a fucking everyday outfit. I don't think it is.
Yeah. They're not rare. It's definitely not like a one of one. You can buy this somewhere. I
You
guarantee
can
it.
buy it somewhere, but I still think it's like, I think it's a little hard to come by. At least I would like to think it is. But yeah, I mean, honestly, there's not much to this match. It is fucking weird as hell to watch because he's like punching this thing, and when it falls down to the ground, it looks so funny. And then like when it's getting up from the ground, it looks funny. And they finally like, lure it out of the ring with bamboo, and he like fucking falls to the ground to like roll out of the ring. I don't know, man. I definitely enjoyed watching this match, and I definitely recommend it. But I couldn't really think of anything creative or constructive to say about it besides like I think it's hilarious and that everybody should watch it.
Okay, so you have a theory about this match. So you think it's one person in that suit. I thought it was two. Like, I envisioned it with like one person standing and another person like sitting on that person's shoulders. You don't think it could be two people?
I think it could be two. Like, could possibly be two people. But I think it would be too hard to maneuver if it was two people because like outside of when he falls on the ground, and tries to get back up. That's the only time he has like a kind of a hassle working this thing. I think if it's a guy on somebody's shoulders, like he uses the thing that, I guess you could headbutt if it was a guy on the shoulders. I don't know. Maybe it is two people. Maybe it is.
If there's any BJW truthers out there with any scoops, let us know if it's one or two people. I'd really like to know. My second note was with the popularization of American wrestling cosplay in Japanese wrestling. So in this match, you have Abdullah Kobayashi playing Stan Hansen. There's a Hulk Hogan cosplay in this match. What Japanese acts would you like to see cosplayed in American wrestling?
You mean American guys cosplaying Japanese guys?
Yeah.
I think Great Mood is probably already overdone. I don't know, man. That's a good one. I think Misawa would be a good one. I think it would take like a.
Who would play him?
Who would play him? I don't know, man.
Yeah.
That would be the tough part, to get somebody to play these guys. I think Eddie Kingston would make a good Misawa. I think he could pull it off.
That'd be pretty sweet, actually. Like ill-fitting pants, Eddie Kingston, like just like rotating his shoulder. I'd be all about that. My thought was having Razor and what's his brother's name in AOP playing old school Gato and Jado for some reason, and like those like mustard and ketchup costumes. That'd be pretty fucking funny. My last note though is that this match is fucking weird, real weird. Andre the Giant Panda entering and exiting the ring made me laugh real fucking hard though. Next up, Hellraisers versus the Steiner Brothers, New Japan Pro Wrestling, Dontaku 5-1, 1994. This is the TV version of this match. So this clip starts off with some sort of commercial, highlighting Tiger Mask versus Kuniaki Kobayashi. And it looks kind of fucking wild. Hopefully I can find this match on YouTube, like to use on a future mixtape. I generally like don't give away market secrets like this, but for all my Vrtl Pros cosplayers out there, Hellraisers merchandise goes for a fucking shit ton of money, and I don't think I've seen a Hellraiser shirt go for less than like $80, which is weird because like I don't recall during like my tape trading days a time where like the Hellraisers were like popping in the streets or anything. Do you? Like, do you think people were like clamoring for Kensuke Sasaki and Hawk?
I think it just like looks really cool, and it's a cool name, and it's like it appeals to both Japanese and American fans because it's Road Warriors too.
Yeah, people go nuts for Hellraisers merch. Anyway, I'm not wrong in saying this, right? Like, no one gives a shit about Animal in the Road Warriors. Is that a thing? Like, the Road Warriors, like, looking back, it's kind of a one-man show. Am I an idiot for saying this?
I think you're wrong about that.
Oh, people like Hawk, dude.
I mean, Hawk was my favorite growing up, definitely, for sure. By a mile, but...
Hawk is everyone's favorite. Like, you just need Animal there to, like, create the tag team, though. I don't know. Just me. That was my thought. Scott Steiner, he does a suplex in this match, and it seems like Hawk was, like, not cooperating at all. Like, he just gets kind of thrown on the floor or on the mat, which is pretty fucking hilarious. Hawk, later on, he hisses at Scott Steiner like a cat, which is even funnier. The other half of the Hellraisers, like I said, Power Warrior, a.k.a. Kensuke Sasaki, is married to possibly the best women's wrestler of all time, Akira Hokuto. If you have any fanfic, I might read it. I might not. Just send it over. Last note, it's really weird to see like a very mobile, like young boys, Scott Steiner, because like the lasting memories I have of him are like him wearing chainmail or like saying holla if you hear me. Like, but he's pretty much like the only shining spot in this match. Like, this match wasn't bad. It's not that good.
Yeah, I always, it's always jarring to me when I see Scott Steiner and like old wrestling Scott Steiner too, because it's like, he must have had, we could probably do a whole show on this, but like, he must have had like the most drastic makeover in wrestling of all time, just like from start to finish. Like, he looks so much different. So this is Pro Wrestling Dontaku, which is still a New Japan pay-per-view or special, what you would call it. The venue and the entrances for this in 1994 were a lot more elaborate than they are now, though. It's crazy how popular wrestling was 20 years ago compared to now. Again, this is something I mentioned on the show, and I know I mentioned it 100 years ago on the Death Valley Driver message board, and I'm still looking for a straight answer because I never got one. But during this match, though, all those letters, those 3 and 4 letter combos scroll down on the bottom of the screen. I asked like a million years ago, and no one had an answer for me. I'm still asking. So if you are a super wrestling nerd, tell me what is scrolling on the bottom of the screen during like basically early 80s to mid 90s New Japan Wrestling, because it's been that long. I've heard that it was like television networks, but that doesn't make any sense because there isn't that many television networks in Japan. Like, I don't fucking know what it is. It's not stocks. I don't know what it is, but it's been always a curiosity. You don't know, do you?
I don't know. I thought it was a network call too, but
yeah, I don't.
I never got it confirmed or anything.
I mean, maybe it is. Maybe they're local network affiliates or something, but there's so many of them that I don't know. Yeah, there's a lot of suplexes and manhandling in this match. It's just like, I don't know, man. There's like Al said, there's that one suplex where Animal's like, what are you doing? And he suplexes him, and like, I thought that was going to be the end of the match. I thought he was just going to get up and deck Scott Steiner, but he still cooperated after that. But yeah, if you like manhandling and suplexes, it's a match for you. The way this match is like worked, I guess you would say, I don't want to sound too much like a nerd, but it's like the Steiner brothers are super overpowered in this match, but the Hellraisers are even more overpowered. So it's just like you're watching the most powerful tag teams on Earth wrestle, and that's kind of how they work it, as if they're both the most powerful tag teams on Earth. And so it has like this really strange dynamic, and it made me really dive deep into the history of the New Japan tag titles in this era, because I was just like, man, who would ever beat this team? Like, the fucking Steiner brothers are just suplexing the fuck out of these dudes, and they still beat them like they're nothing in the end. They ended up losing to Kaiji Muto and Hiroshi Hase after 325 days of defending this title. But they only defended it twice in 325 days. One of them was this match. So that's it's pretty crazy. So I was like reading the Wikipedia, and so while I don't have a lot of notes on this match in particular, I put a lot of watch later videos into my YouTube that are probably gonna be on this mixtape in future episodes, because like the 90s New Japan tag scene was just like this weird version of WCW, where it was just like all the biggest manly men, and then like the biggest manly Japanese men all like go into battle. So I'm very interested in diving deeper into this wrestling in the future. So my last match, the last match of the night, is Hellstorm versus Crazy Crusher. This is a ladder match from 2004 December, from a promotion called EWR from Canada, which I believe a few episodes ago is where Sami Zayn's character Big Larry, where he pretends to be a black man, is from. I'm pretty sure this is the same promotion. So if you couldn't tell by the names Hellstorm and Crazy Crusher, these guys never really amounted to much. I don't think. I don't think these guys are real wrestlers. They're just guys who are in this EWR. I chose this match because I was watching.
Well, they're brothers, I think.
I don't know how you fucking came about that, but okay, sure.
I think they're brothers.
I mean, that makes sense. They're probably brothers. I came across this match because I was on Twitter, and somebody was posting GIFs of this match, and it looked like the most dangerous, stupidest thing I've ever seen. So I was just like, I'm putting that on the mixtape. Hopefully it's on YouTube. And sure enough, it was. So Hellstorm looks like he was really into CM Punk. He's wearing like CM Punk's outfit. He's basically cosplaying CM Punk, to be honest. And yeah, this match, I would say overall isn't as crazy as I built it up in my head, because when I just saw the GIFs, like all the GIFs were insane. It was just all the most insane parts of this match. So when I saw the runtime of 27 minutes, I was like, this is just going to be 27 minutes of stupidity. And while it's stupid for 27 minutes, I wouldn't say it's all high spots, but they do a lot of dumb stuff that no one should ever do in a match with ladders. It made me think the whole time. There's 3 ladders in this match. It made me think the whole time, what could they have done if they could afford more ladders? Like, what would have happened in this match if they could afford 5 ladders? Like, somebody would be dead right now. I will say this match is nowhere near 5 stars, but there needs to be a different scale for matches that are this dumb with like this much dangerous shit in it where somebody doesn't die. Cause like, I don't know, like I can't describe everything they do, but there's basically like one part where the dude does the thing, Crazy Crusher does this thing where he basically sticks his body through one of the rungs of the ladder, as if like, you know, like, so half of the ladder is pointing forward and half of the ladder is pointing to his back. Like, and sometimes usually guys would like swing it around to hit other people, but he doesn't do that. He gets on a ladder and lets the other guy fucking basically suplex him off. So he lands like ladder side down. Like, I can't even explain it, but it looks real painful, basically is what I'm getting at. Like, it doesn't look like something you ever want to happen to you. And he's just fine. Like, he's not dead from this. It's weird. They build this thing where they basically take a ladder and put it parallel to the top rope turnbuckle, and then put another ladder. So it's like a platform between the ladder and the turnbuckle, and then put another ladder on top of that. So it's like if a ladder was on the top rope of the wrestling ring, and then they fucking suplex each other off of it like idiots. And the one dude catches the lower ladder right in the small of the back, like right on the small of the back. He's fine somehow. they do a fucking Death Valley bomb onto a ladder that's set up in the turnbuckle, and they hit it so hard they bounce up in the air and fly out of the ring. Like, that is fucking insane. Outside of that, there's French chanting in this, which is really funny because they pronounce their H's weird. And there's a proto both these guys chant where they just chant both guys, which I think is fucking great. And I'm going to try and do that next time I'm at wrestling. I'm not going to try and chant both these guys anymore. I'm just going to try and chant both guys because that's more concise and to the point. So again, I'm sorry this whole week. I don't have a lot of notes to say, but, and honestly, I could have probably just stuck with the gifts and been content because a lot of this match is bullshit. But, man, the things people would do, like, I don't think people do stuff to this extent in wrestling anymore, like amateur wrestling or like very low end independent wrestling. I don't think people are legitimately almost killing themselves anymore. I think they've learned their lesson, and I think it happens very rarely now. And it's crazy, like the late 90s to the mid 2000s of like kids just doing the wildest shit in front of 60 people. And that is this is a clear example of that. So if you're into that type of stuff, definitely watch this match, or at least fast forward through it, because these kids do some real dumb shit to each other.
Okay, so I watched this match blind. I didn't see any of the gifts that Mike saw. And spoiler alert, this might be the most amazing match like we've ever covered on the mixtape. It was fucking crazy. If you have 30 minutes today, watch this. Just pause the episode, watch it. In the opening graphic, Hellstorm, he's wearing a ball bearing necklace and like a Spitfire beanie, like he's fucking me loitering in a parking lot circa 2001. And then he comes out to some kind of like Japanese visual rock. And I'm like, okay, like Hellstorm, like he just like got off his shift at GameStop to wrestle in this ladder match. So I was like, that's a cool character, GameStop employee. Hellstorm, he does a Ocean Cyclone suplex onto Crazy Crusher, and truthfully, an Ocean Cyclone suplex might be my favorite kind of suplex. At 5:45 of this clip, Hellstorm, he falls off the ladder in a way where I can see why WWE ran those like "Don't try this at home" vignettes so many times during this era. Like, Hellstorm should have been eating through a fucking straw here. Like, he falls so awkwardly off of, like, this ladder. Like, there's no way he trained to do this, and it was a sight to see. Later on in the match, Hellstorm, this is probably, like, the nuttiest spot of this entire match. He's on top of the ladder with Crazy Crusher. They're at not the very top of the ladder, but pretty close up there. They're near the turnbuckle. He pile drives Crazy Crusher on top of a ladder set on top of the turnbuckle. They fall outside, and right then and there, I'm like, well, I'm like 110% into this shit. And like we're at minute 7 into like a 30-minute clip, mind you. Like, it only goes up from here. Like, so what I do when I'm just like, I don't know, awestruck by something is like, I'll stop it and like see what everyone said about it. And someone on Twitter put it perfectly when they said something to the effect of like, this is shit that you do with action figures. Like, there's like too many things that happened during this match where like my description like would not do it justice. Like, this is an absolute must watch. And to think that like these two bros did this in front of like 40 people that sound like GSP, it was like pretty fucking criminal. I think it's just like a matter of bad timing. Like, if this match happened last month, this would be like more talked about on the internet than Okada versus Omega. Like, I fully believe it. It was incredible. Must watch. Anyway, that was episode 53 of the Virtual Pros podcast. Follow us on Twitter and IG at VRTL Pros. Just follow us. It's been 2 years. It's kind of flown by, but for all the old heads, for all the new people that just started listening, I appreciate you. Just write us and let us know, like, I don't know, your feelings. Just your feelings. Just let us know. It makes us feel good. And everyone that submitted art, like, that really, like, took me aback because I thought we'd get like 4 entries, but we got a ton more than that. So for everyone to take the time to check us out, I appreciate it. Mike, any last words?
Yeah, everything's cutting out, so I can't hear you, but I'm just going to say thank you.
That's cool.